I have to say, finding unemployment is not a very easy process. I can see how someone who's not really well versed in computers could have a hard time doing it.
Back in Franken booth, Jim Jones, the owner of Slowbones, hoped takeout could keep his business alive. I hope y'all are enjoying it. I am. Like I say, I don't talk a whole lot when I'm painting because I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. And the more I concentrate, the easier it is for you to see what I'm doing. Each time I go back and get more color, I wipe my brush before I add more color to it, because when I'm tapping and putting in color, putting in the white, I'm getting other color on my brush. So I want to make sure that I wipe it out before I go back to the white paint. Now I have nothing on my brush, and I'm just coming in here and I'm just tapping. I'm just tapping these down. And my clouds always change form. Always. They're never the same anywhere, no matter what I do. Okay, let's put one right here. And I think we need to come over here and work on this one just a little bit. I want it to go off, but I want to come back in and soften it right here on the very edge. So it looks like a little faint cloud right there. Okay, now down in here, I'm going to, hang on just a second. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put in just a little bitty cloud. Can you see that one? Put it just a little bit stronger right through here. And not through here. A little stronger. And when I say a little stronger, I just add a little more white to my brush. And I'm just tapping. That's all I'm doing. So I'm just tapping on the color. Wiping my brush. And then I'll come back and I'm going to tap that down just a little bit. I don't want it to be as bright as the rest of them up in here. Now let's go over to the blue side of the clouds. Now when I'm doing this, I'm going to go to my Fateful Cloud brush. And I'm going to load my brush on the edge. Now, I'm going to put some fluffy clouds in here. I might leave them, then I might take them back out. I don't know yet. These clouds I want to be more predominant. Those clouds are going to go further back. I'm wiping my brush after each reload, before each reload. Now I have wiped my brush out really, really good. I do not want to wet my brush with turp because if I do it, it'll make my paint too soft. So now I'm going to come back into the bottom of these clouds and I'm going to just press and pat it. I'm not going to the top of my clouds at all. I'm just softening the bottom. Okay, let's put a few more in. Okay, let's go back to the other brush, our blender, and let's come in here and soften this. And I'm going to use the corner of the brush, and I'm going to barely soften it. You can pull it down or you can go up. I normally just go and pull it around this way because I'm bringing that cloud over here. And I'm going to soften it just a little bit when I pull out right in here. Okay, now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to lightly, very lightly, soften those down. All I'm doing is knocking off the top edge of that cloud and I'm moving it. I want the cloud to move. I don't want it to sit there and be stationary. I want it to move. Clouds always move. They never sit still. And those little strings that fall out, don't worry about those. That's in the sky too. If you don't believe me, go out there and look at it. Okay. Now I'm going to come back over here and work with this just a little bit more. I like the big fluffy clouds, but I don't like them to be so mushy on the bottom. So we're going to come back to our filbert. And we're going to come in here and we're going to make them just a little bit more predominant by just tapping and pushing. All you're doing is pushing up paint. Okay, let's come up here and load our brush with a little bit more white. And see how this is just a little bit. I like for it to look like the silver lining. That's what I like. Okay, let's come up here, do the same thing. We're just, instead of having it all messy and fuzzy, we're going to soften it and round it out just a little bit. And you do it with the filbert brush. I don't care if it's a sable or synthetic. You see the difference between that and these? That's what you're looking for. And don't do the little 1, 2, 3. I get on to my students all the time. They got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You don't want that. That's not the way clouds are in the sky. So you got to start looking at your clouds and for a pattern. Look for the pattern in the sky on the clouds. I guarantee you it's there. Now I'm going to soften this just a little bit right in here, and I'm going to tap it. Okay, let's come in here and get these, soften these up.
I am totally blind. In Non 24 can throw my days and nights out of sync, keeping me from the things I love to do. Talk to your doctor and call 844-214-2424.
Over 100 million Americans are low.
I hope you can see how I'm getting this random. Can you see that? I always turn my canvas when I'm painting. It's easier for me. And there's no rule that says you can't turn it.
Thank you for joining me during Corona Again. And if that doesn't cheer you up, forget it.
Jimmy Kimmel Live from his house after Nightline on ABC.
With Americans being told to stay home
Remember, I'm wiping my brush before I reload.
so easy. So with their tour dates
If you don't wipe your brush, you're going to get in some serious trouble.
raising millions
It will turn to mud.
once again, we will rock.
We've heard of COVID-19 deaths surging among the nation's older population, but now stories of just how serious it can be for the young.
This virus does not judge you based on your age.
Today is day 10. I still have a fever.
It was the cough, the fever, and the difficulty breathing. I developed a fever of about 102, where I thought I might be in trouble.
Last night I took the drone. I tested positive for the coronavirus.
My body does not belong to me at this point. It belongs to this virus.
After repeated early warnings about the risk to the elderly,
We're asking every American to be mindful of seniors or others with serious underlying health conditions.
the CDC now confirming that 1 in 5
Obviously, you heard those voices a moment ago from Deborah Roberts, and in a moment, those messages of hope across America. Back home.
I'm Phil Mickelson. That's me, long before I had psoriatic arthritis. I've always been a go-getter and kind of competitive. Flash forward, then psoriatic arthritis started getting the better of me, and my doctor said my joint pain could mean permanent joint damage.
Okay, now let's come over here and work. I'm going to clean my brush and turp. I want this spot to be very light, so I'm going to come in here with some yellow, light, and white. And I'm going to lighten this up a little bit more.
Where does your almond milk come from?
Almond beef starts here. It's our almond cheese in our Blue Diamond Orchard in California. My parents' job is to look after them. And it's my job to test them all.
The best almonds make the best almond milk. Blue Diamond Almond Breeze.
Okay, we need a little bit brightness right in there. So I'm going to come in here with a little more of the white. Make it just a little bit heavier.
Doctor, season finale next on ABC. Your Trevor 2 HD, only on Channel 2 Action News.
And now those artists rising to the challenge. Here's Aiden.
Dedicated to everybody in isolation right now. Is this one?
With concert tours canceled, singers and musicians are taking their acts off stage and online. The idea took off, and many hashtag together at home concerts have been shared on social media. These virtual concerts help raise over $112 million.
Okay, I like that better.
Solidarity.
I'm going to make this come off the cloud, come off that canvas. So we're going to start up here.
Musicians are connecting with fans in new and unique ways. Eric Carter Jr. invited the world into his basement in his new YouTube show.
Notice how I'm working that red into that white, and I'm softening it up. But no, that's a alizarin crimson. But if I can't get it like I really want it, I'm gonna come back and add some crimson in that with the same brush.
Earlier today, I also spoke to rock and roll
Now watch, I'm gonna pull it out.
about the photo his wife took of him washing dishes at his soul kitchen and the caption he wrote for that
I'm gonna come in here and you tap up underneath.
song. If you can't do what you do what you can.
So true. Our thanks to Amy Robach tonight. And you have so many messages of hope across this country. And signaling we're in this together. Tonight, true to its name, the Navy ship the Comfort pulling into New York Harbor, past the Statue of Liberty, a city in need, a city grateful. And every night in New York for the past several nights,
Okay, I'm gonna wipe my brush. Well, I need to clean it.
pause for the brave healthcare workers risking their own lives to save others.
And I'm gonna come back and get some more white on my filbert. And I'm gonna come in here and get this just as white as I can get on the very edge. Remember the silver lining.
Dr. Elvis Francois singing, Dr. William Robinson playing piano, the Maple Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, John Lennon's Imagine. We went to find those doctors.
Here's felt like a good time to share that.
Wiping my brush, coming back in, and I'm tapping out the color. Just on the bottom, not messing with the top. I want these to be there, but I don't want them to be as bright as these. These are these. I want these to be far away.
Cleveland Clinic. Note to the patient taped to a window. That patient with coronavirus. And now we learn who it was.
Okay, now
This window has been the most
I want to,
in my life. On days when I watched you work hard, you
let me fix this right here, it bothers me.
time that
Just a little faint. There we go. Okay, now, what do we need? I think we're pretty well set for the sky. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long for you. Okay. I think I'm going to steal a little color from this area and bring it down here to this area. Okay, now let's go get a little bit of crimson, cad red light, medium, and a little bit of crimson, and a little bit of blue. Watch this. We're going to come in here and we're going to tap it in.
I wasn't expecting anything because of social distancing, and when I saw that all of my family and friends
Wipe the brush out real good.
I was completely surprised.
And then
I was so
I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to tap. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure on there. I'm just moving this paint so I can get the depth that I need right here. And I'm going to start pulling it out. Okay, the same thing up here. Push it around. Work on the bottom. A little bit on the top, not much. Push that color around. Push it around. Let's get a little more of the cad red light. Tap it in. Okay, let's get a little blue right on top of the red. Tap it, tap it. All you're doing is you're just taking these colors and you're just muting them to, but you're not, don't make mud. Please don't make the mud. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, on the bottom, down in here, we're just going to soften it just a little bit. Wipe the brush a lot. Soften the color. See, I've got different colors in here. I've got the dark and I got the light on the reds and the blues. And it just looks like a big thundercloud. Okay, still softening it up. I'm not going back up under to the top. I hope you've noticed that. I'm just working with the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to take my brush and I'm very lightly pulling these colors down and into the other part. This takes a very light touch. If you're heavy-handed, you will never do this. Okay, over here we're going to go this way. I'm just softening this out to nothing. Absolutely zero over here. And the same thing over here on this side.
your blood pressure down
Now,
and reduce
we're going to bring that down so it will look like,
honesty. Wasn't a problem with my ex. I opened up to him, told him everything.
wipe your brush. Because if you don't, you'll do the same thing I just done right there.
Were you being honest when you said you were going to move on after this?